The Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus. I've been using it as my primary for over a week now, and in today's video, let's see how it fared. But before that, if this is your first time here or in case you just can't remember, my name's Ash, you're watching C4E Tech. Here's a card to our latest giveaway. I'll also be leaving a link to it in the description below. And while you're down there, make sure you hit that bell icon so that you don't miss out on our latest content. Here's the part where we usually go build-in design, but given the iterative nature of the Galaxy S9 Plus, I decided to start with where I feel Samsung's made the most changes: the cameras. To the back, we have two 12-megapixel sensors with optical image stabilization. The primary sensor can switch between an industry-first f1.5 and a narrower f2.4. Now, while the aperture swapping is nice, it doesn't really make a huge difference with day-to-day usage. That said, f1.5 means the bokeh here is awesome. You get a very shallow depth of field with images shot on the S9 Plus. The presence of a second camera means we get optical zoom without loss of quality. It still is not as good as the primary sensor, but it's not bad either. And the second camera also provides us with the option to shoot live focus shots. The edge detection is much improved now and the bokeh feels more natural. Now, as far as the sensor's performance itself goes, the detail levels are great, the dynamic range is excellent, and while you can see some of the fine refinements Samsung's made, where this camera really shines is under low light. The images look too good to be true, and to an extent they are. Zoom in and you can see noise and an oil painting-esque effect, but for a smartphone camera, Samsung has delivered big time here. The processing is good, and that coupled with the excellent hardware means low-light photography is a pleasure on the S9 Plus. I'd put it right up there with the Pixel 2. Haven't really compared them side by side yet. Do you guys want to see a camera comparison? Let us know in the comments below. One area where it doesn't get close to the Pixel 2 is with the portraits on the selfie camera. Now, this is an 8-megapixel sensor with an f1.7 aperture, similar to what we've seen on the S8 and the Note 8, but Samsung now offers selfie portraits. And they are okay. Maybe about on par with one shot by the iPhone X, but still far behind the Pixel 2's excellent selfies. It's not that the images are bad, they are quite good, but we've come to expect Samsung's flagships to outperform everything, and I'm just saying that that's not the case here. As far as videos go, Samsung's back in the lead. The video quality is excellent. Optical image stabilization for both lenses help a lot with keeping things stable. We now get 4K videos at 60 frames per second. Slow motion is on par with the latest iPhones with support for 240 FPS at 1080p. Samsung's also thrown in a super slow motion 960 FPS option at 720p though. It's got other limitations too, namely you can only shoot 0.2 seconds at once and that gets stretched to 6 seconds of footage. But it's a fun mode to use, especially when you get it right. Given the short window, we did end up missing out on our shots sometimes. Samsung's excellent Pro mode option also returns. This is something Samsung does better than most brands, so points here. Another area that Samsung has focused on a lot here with the S9 Plus is software. The S9 runs on Android 8.0 Oreo with the latest Samsung experience on top. Samsung's brought a few new features here, again with the focus on the camera. The option to create GIFs out of videos, especially the super slow-mo ones, is something I absolutely adore. Then there's AR emojis, Samsung's take on Animojis. Personally, I feel Samsung has improved upon Animojis in some ways. The idea is good, but the implementation, the fact that Samsung's using the selfie camera here instead of dedicated hardware like Apple, means the end results just aren't as good. I'm definitely looking forward to what Samsung can do with this in the future. Talking about second generation features, Bixby. For the second year, Samsung's got Bixby front and center on their flagship. The voice recognition is now better, but still not close to what Google offers with Google Assistant. Bixby can do a few new things, and one of them, live text translation, is super cool. The superimposition of translated text feels really futuristic. And then there's Intelligent Face Unlock, which combines the front camera and iris scanner to provide a face unlock that's more secure than implementations that just use the camera. I didn't really find it as comfortable as Apple's implementation, given that it's slower. You can speed it up, but then that means you'd have to make it rely on just the camera, which again reduces accuracy. Now, I did love the new fingerprint placement though. It's below the cameras now, and that meant hitting it's not a problem. I still kept hitting the second camera occasionally, causing smudges, but it is still a step forward and I'm happy with the change. Now let's cycle back to the software. The regular slew of Samsung features including Edge screen functionality and Samsung Pay are all present and accounted for. The sheer amount of features packed in means there are some hiccups, like when swiping to the Bixby homepage, but for the most part, the experience here was fast and fluid, and that's thanks in large not just to the software, but the solid hardware underneath. The S9 Plus is powered by an Exynos 9810 chip. There's also a Snapdragon 845 variant sold in some parts of the world. Either way, there is enough power to keep even the most power-hungry of apps or games happy. There's also 6 gigs of RAM to go along with 64 gigs of onboard storage. As always, Samsung's included support for memory expansion via microSD. The battery capacity though hasn't really gone up this year, it's still 3500 mAh. I would have liked to see Samsung increase it, but the S9 Plus should still be able to get you through a day on a single charge with moderate usage. If you do need to plug it in, Samsung's included a fast charger in the box, and there is also support for wireless fast charging should you want it. Now, I went in with low expectations because the display size hasn't changed, but the internals have gotten more powerful. The battery capacity remained the same, so I kind of had my questions on it, but thankfully I wasn't disappointed. The battery life was indeed quite good. Now, talking about the display, let's focus on it for a moment. Like I said, the size is the same as its predecessor. It's a 6.2-inch Quad HD Plus Super AMOLED display with a 18.5:9 aspect ratio. This is an excellent display with great viewing angles, brilliant color reproduction, and low reflectivity. Samsung's also used a brighter panel this time around, so shooting stills or videos midday pose few issues. The edges curving does help provide an immersive experience, and the stereo speakers, thanks to the earpiece now doubling as a speaker, helps amplify the media experience here. Now that the S9 Plus, just like its predecessor, is also IP68 water and dust resistant, it was my go-to speaker while in the shower. Another thing worth mentioning is the headphone jack. That's present, it's alive and well on the S9 Plus. The output's great. We had no issues with call clarity or reception either. Now, the reason why I didn't open this review with the build is because not a lot's really changed since the S8 Plus. The S9 Plus is shorter, narrower, a little thicker, but overall it is easier to wield. That said, the curved Gorilla Glass 5 to the front and back means that this is a slippery phone. For better grip, Samsung has included a case in the box, or you could be like me and get a Dbrand skin. A big shout out to our sponsors Dbrand. I'll leave a direct link in the description below. Do check them out. They offer a wide array of skins. Anyway, as good as the build here is, like I said, it is still very similar to the S8 Plus. In terms of build, the S9 is to the S8 what the Galaxy S4 was to the S3. Very familiar, but an overall refinement. In fact, the same can be said of the phone itself. There's nothing drastic that Samsung has done with the S9, but they didn't really have to. The S8 and the S8 Plus were already great phones, and instead of trying to reinvent the wheel, Samsung has chosen to refine things, and for the most part, it's worked. Now, the S9 Plus is priced at 65,000 rupees in India and $840 in the United States. At those prices, it is a very expensive offering. I'd really have liked to see both the S9 and S9 Plus priced a little cheaper, especially given that they are iterative updates. That said, if you are willing to buy a phone in this segment, the S9 Plus is definitely an awesome option. Those cameras, the powerful internals, stereo speakers, best-in-class infinity display, the glass build, there is just so much that Samsung's got right. So there you go, my 2 cents on the S9 Plus. Do you agree with what I've had to say in this video? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you don't want to pick this phone up, I'll leave a direct link in the description below. Use it, helps the channel out. If you hated the video, I'm sure you know what to do, but if you did like it, give this video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button down below, and if you've already subscribed, hit that bell icon to make sure you get notified each time a new video goes live here on C4eTech. So that's it for now. Thanks a lot for watching. Till next time, this is Ash here from C4eTech signing off. You guys have a great day, or if you're watching it at night, goodbye and good night.